Coming up, a TKell knife as a gift. I'll show you some new APOC survival knives and my Emerson collection as of spring 2025. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. Had a lot of very enthusiastic comments about my interview with Bobby Rains II. First comes from my good friend Strings2810. He says, "Great episode as usual, brother. Bobby seems like a down-to-earth good old boy. Glad he's keeping this style of Bowie going. Beautiful knives." And by this style, he means that fighting style of Bowie. Next from Pale Rider 7171, he says, "One of his is on the way. Thanks for having Bobby on." I got a couple of comments like that. People who saw my interview with Rolando Escotada saw those Bobby Rains Rainmaker Bowies and called up Bobby and ordered some. Last one really tickled me. That's my cousin. That's Amanda Holcomb Loudon, DY1JW. And I love that. It's nice to recognize when you see your cousin on an interview. That's cool. Well, thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking. Thanks for watching. And keep it up. Please check out the interview show, the midweek supplemental. Join us on Thursday Night Knives and watch the videos as they drop. All right, that said, let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
In my front right pocket for the past few days, I got to say, has been the Microtech LUDT. Now, this is a Gen 2 model. And when I finally, after years, decided to pull the trigger on this knife, this is the only one left that I could find. Now, you might be looking at a nice blue knife, but really this is purple. I'm not sure how your camera is showing this, but it's a beautiful anodized purple aluminum handle. And I guess I could say if all the Gen 2s weren't already gone, I probably would have gotten a different color, but this is what I was stuck with. And I got to say, I'm happy to be stuck with you. Just like Huey Lewis in the News said, I do love this color, but I wouldn't have picked it originally. I carry this thing a lot. It's got those great Microtech serrations that stand a little bit proud of the main edge, which leads me to believe they do the serrations first and then create the straight edge. So a beautiful knife. They have now transitioned to a V3, a version 3 of this design, which is fine, but it's definitely not my favorite. I really like this LUDT. Underwater demolition something. I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but LUDT, a great and classic knife from Microtech. All right, next up, I had the new VampireFIXedc in my pocket. This is from Jack Wolf Knives, of course. A beautiful S90V spear point blade. You've got that perfectly symmetrical drop point there with a swedge and a hand satin on it. So hand rubbed satin. You can see going horizontally on the blade. And then this one has an absolutely stunning rosewood handle. So those handle scales are rosewood, wood frequently seen on the fretboard of fine guitars. And then this one also ships with a fob with a midpoint anodized titanium bead there. So really nice package. They make these to be a little bit smaller than a fully opened up slip joint version of the same. And to even out the smaller handle, they have put the fob on there, which I really appreciate. For the Midnight Fixed EDC, they did not do that. You had to put your own on there, which I did, and I was fine with that. But I got to say, it's nice to get this with that titanium bead on there. So very nice. And then also, it's just got a beautiful white stitched black leather sheath with the DCC style clip on it. So the whole package is really, really nice. I do not use this so far. I have not clipped this to my pocket. I prefer to drop the whole thing in the pocket and carry it that way. But Either way, it's a very comfortable carry and a beautiful, beautiful knife. Next up, in my waistband, carried samurai style. I had the SideKick from Off Grid Knives. Samurai style, what's that, you might ask? Well, that's kind of a loose term, but you stuff the sheath in your waistband, and it's sort of kept there by tension, the tension of your belt. But really, what's holding it in there is the det cord here that is wrapped around your belt. So when you pull it, pull out the knife, it comes out of the sheath, and then the sheath ends up dangling at the end of your 550 cord by your side. I like it. That's not my absolute preferred method, but I really like it with this knife. This is a great 14C28N recurved humpback drop point blade, fixed blade, full tang here with a newly designed arced handle. That blade you saw on the Backcountry, a full-size outdoors knife by Off Grid Knives. Well, they made this companion or EDC style knife, and this is my favorite version of this knife so far, of this profile. I really like the arced handle. It fills the hand perfectly. It's just the right thickness. You got jimping on the forward thumb ramp and on the blade here on that thumb swale. Really, really nice, and a very sharp blade. We are going to be giving one of those away for the Gentleman Junkie Knife giveaway knife tomorrow night if you're watching this as it drops. And last up, I had an emotional support knife on me, as always. However, it wasn't on me. It was just with me. Today, I had the K-Bar Dog's Head. So this is a build as a utility knife. It's basically, if you love a K-Bar but want something that's a little better suited to bushcraft and camping and general utility, you get this. But to me, this is a combat knife all day long. What they did with this is extended the pommel a bit, so you have more of a hammering surface. It's a little bit thicker there. And then they made the guard thicker out of a thicker gauge metal. It's fully straight, and then it's got a smaller back quillion so that the thumb can ride on the back of the blade just like that. So yeah, I could see how this might be a little bit better for utility than the usual combat utility knife from K-Bar, but to me, this is still a full-bred fighting knife. I love this thing. In my bag, didn't use it, didn't even pull it out today, but it was there just in case I needed that emotional support. So today, my ESK was the Dog's Head knife from K-Bar. I had the SideKick from Off Grid Knives. I had the VampireFIXedc from Wolf Knives, and then, of course, the classic and the legendary Microtech LUDT. In this case, the Gen 2. My favorite version of this knife so far. What did you have on you? Let me know. Drop it in the comments below, and perhaps it will be some inspiration for my next knife purchase. All right, I wanted to show these off. This will be the last time before we actually do the giveaway. This is the Gentleman Junkie Knife giveaway package for the month of April 2025. I'll show you this, though yours will be black. We're giving away, we'll start with the pen this time, an Off Grid Knives Bolt Tactical Pen. This is a big aluminum pen, and you've got micro milling down here where the finger grip is, and a really robust build here. You have a loop over pocket clip, and then you have this bolt action actuation here. So when you push down on that bolt and lock it over, the barrel comes out with a jotter, Parker jotter style pen in there. It writes so nicely, beautiful flow on the pen. And then if you push it in the other direction, you get a tungsten carbide glass breaker there. So a do-all pen. You've got the pen and writing all day long. If it's retracted, you have a Kubotan for pain compliance and other kind of stuff. And then if you want to smash out a window because you're trapped in a car in the river, you push that out and you can break some glass. So a really, really nice pen from Off Grid Knives. And then we will be giving away the SideKick. Now, the SideKick was the knife I was wearing today, the fixed blade. However, this one has the clip still on it. I took the clip off of mine because I like to carry it that samurai style in the waistband. But here is a fully rotating plastic clip. You can rotate it 360 and carry it on your belt however you want it. Of course, if you want to take it off and put a different clip on there, you can do so. But there is the knife. This is the blackout version of the SideKick. Absolutely beautiful. These are great knives. I think, well, I love pretty much all my off-grid knives. Maybe I like one, but I love all of them. And this one to me is probably my favorite of the fixed blades. They have a lot of great folders, a lot of great fixed blades, but this with its jigged G10 handle and with those big chamfers and that super comfortable grip and that recurved humpback drop point blade, it just can't be beat. So we will be giving this away. All you got to do is become a Gentleman Junkie. That is our high tier of support on Patreon. And actually, we just embarked on memberships here on YouTube. And there's only one tier of support as a member, and that is the same as the Gentleman Junkie over on Patreon. So if you don't want to get involved in Patreon, still want to help support the show, you can do so by becoming a member right here on YouTube. And you stand to win this fantastic package. Every month, third Thursday. This month, it had to be the fourth Thursday because of unforeseen plans. But every third Thursday, we do an awesome giveaway. And that's what we have this month for you. All right. Let us get now to Knife Life News. But before we do, I'll tell you how to get to be a Gentleman Junkie. Just go to theknifejunkie.com/Patreon. As you can see on the address below, or you can scan this QR code here on your screen. Go to theknifejunkie.com/Patreon. Check out all we have to offer, including interview extras, as well as these awesome giveaways. Again, that's theknifejunkie.com/Patreon.
Want to sell your custom knives online? With LaunchCart, you can easily create your own e-commerce store. No coding required. LaunchCart is designed for knife makers like you, with built-in tools to showcase your craftsmanship, manage orders, and grow your brand. It's fast, flexible, and even includes low-cost payment processing to help you keep more of your profits. Start your online knife store today at theknifejunkie.com/launch and turn your passion into a business.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life News.
Okay, first up in Knife Life News, we have one from Boker. Boker's been dropping a lot of really cool knives, including that awesome Bowie about a month back. This one is called the Boker USA Backcountry. This is a really nice outdoors backpacking knife. I think that this would be ideal for backpacking, where you want a capable knife, fixed blade knife, but you want it small enough and light enough that you're not going to feel it while you're hiking the trail. This one has a 3.43-inch drop point blade of, yes, MagnaCut. Beautiful swedge there. It's a flat ground blade, so you might say a saber ground because it's not full flat ground. And it's got forward jimping. So you could imagine you're doing some sort of detailed task like skinning an animal. You can have your finger engaged, stretched up the spine of the blade and engaged with that jimping. There's also thumb jimping and palm jimping and jimping, in all the strategic places, but I really like it down forward there. Beautiful swedge on that, so it's going to pierce well if you need it to. Contoured G10 handle scales there on this knife. You have a skeletonized lanyard hole back there and a Kydex sheath. Very nice and light package. This will be available at the end of June 30th. So you'll be able to see this one at Blade Show in Atlanta earlier in June, and then this will be released at the end of June. The Boker USA Backcountry in MagnaCut. All right, next up from GiantMouse. Now, Jens Anzo left the company in January, but he still has his design hand in this next one. And who knows, maybe this will be the last. I'm not sure, but this thing is beautiful, I got to say. Perhaps for me, one of the most compelling giant mice I've ever seen. Look at that beautiful S-curve Hawkbill. So this is a 2.8-inch S90V S-curve Hawkbill blade. S-curve meaning it's got a bit of belly. It's not all concave. It's convex first and then goes concave. Think of, say, a less exaggerated Black Talon from Cold Steel, or a Civilian from Spyderco. Just a little less dramatic in all of the curves, but same sort of concept here. S90V blade, softly contoured tie scales, really looks comfortable. I mean, you can just look at this knife and see that it's super ergonomic. You've got a reversible wire clip there, which GiantMouse is prone to do. And then it has a ambidextrous bar lock. So I bet it's a bit fidgety as well. This is only 3 ounces for a titanium and S90V blade, and it is available now. But if you're a fan, that's a beautiful shot. Thanks for bringing that one up, Jim. I love the way that knife looks from that angle. If you are a fan of this or of GiantMouse in general, you want to jump on it because this is limited to 400 pieces. Available now. All right, next up, this one's funny. A really nice looking knife from a maker that I really like, Scott Stills of Edgy Blade Works. I really like Edgy Blade Works. I follow them on Instagram. This is the Kansept Tipper. The Tipper is a 3.38-inch quote-unquote modified cleaver of S35 VN. But I got to say, this does not look like a modified cleaver to me in any sense. I would say that's a modified clip point or a modified Americanized Tonto or even a Spay blade before I would go cleaver. But a really nice looking knife nonetheless, no matter what you call it. You don't spell it, son, you eat it. And so this one has, like I said, S35 VN thumb studs. Big fan of the thumb studs, and that beautifully sort of bronzed anodized tie handle is a frame lock. You got a sculpted clip, only one side, right hand carry only. Sorry, lefties. And this sucker is available now. I think it's beautiful. I love the sort of slicer grind on it, where the grind rises from the plunge grind and disappears and into a full flat grind towards the break of the clip up there at the clip point. A beautiful knife. And Scott Stills of Edgy Blade Works designs and makes some really cool knives. So definitely check that out. Kansept Tipper. All right, last up in Knife Life news, we have an 11th anniversary knife from Wii Knives. Can you believe they've been around for 11 years? I can't. Time flies. This is the 702. Now, they started the series with the 600 series, and then they started the 700 series. So this is the 702 11, 702 XI. And what this is a sort of spiffied up or fancified send up of their very first integral knife. Basically the same knife, different clip. Different lock it had. But look at this thing. This is absolutely beautiful. You have a 3.81-inch hollow ground modified clip point. I mean, it's really beautiful with a full length swedge on this sucker. It is M390 blade steel. It's got a flipper with a button lock, and then a beautifully shaped integral titanium handle. Now, this one has two-part inlays. So each side has this two-part inlay. And the one side, or not one side, but one model of it features copper foil, carbon fiber. And that's that one that's on screen right now. This is such a tasty looking knife. I got to say, that is just beautiful. And then it also has a jungleware fat carbon inlay, which is the one you saw before this. Now, if you like Wii Knives and you like the look of this knife, which I do, you better jump on this. This is available the last week of April 2025, and only 150 pieces of this will be made all day long. So you are going to want to jump on this. And I got to say, this is one of the more beautiful Wii Knives I've seen in a long time. They're incredible makers of knives. Their designs and the fanciness of them don't always resonate with me, but this one that you see on the screen right now is positively beautiful to me. So that's the Wii Knives 702 XI, or 11 in Roman numerals. All right, that does it for Knife Life News. I want to remind you that you can become a member of the newsletter here. Just go to theknifejunkie.com/newsletter and sign up. It's a great way for you to get more information about knives that are dropping, new knives that I've experienced, or other thoughts and anecdotes from yours truly. It's also a great way to stay in touch with the Knife Junkie podcast. You never know when someone might be deplatformed. Not that I'm big enough to deplatform, but you know what I'm saying. So definitely stick around for that and stay with us. And you can also download the show to your favorite podcast app, something I also highly recommend because sometimes you have to turn off the video and get moving. And you don't want to be caught lying in bed watching this show, slack-jawed and drooling, when you could actually be on the road, headed to work, and listening to these dulcet tones on one of these great platforms. So sign up for the newsletter, download the show to your favorite podcast app, and make yourself happy. All right, coming up, State of the Collection.
Adventure Delivered, your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor, survival, EDC, and other cool gear from our expert team of outdoor professionals. TheKnifeJunkie.com/BattleBox.
And now that we're caught up with Knife Life News, let's hear more of the Knife Junkie podcast.
All right, the first knife tonight in State of the Collection is from Gentleman Junkie and friend of the show, patron Jammin Parker. Jammin, I want to thank you so much for this. This is the TKell Knives Gideon V3. And giddy it made me to get this Gideon 3. This is designed by Frogman Tactical. You can see his logo right there. He also did the FMF, which I've shown off recently in the All-American garb. And then a third one, the Taylor's Ridge, I believe was his. But he's done 3 knives with TKell Knives. And this is definitely the most aggro, angry, tactical. I don't know what else to call it. It is positively wicked. It's sort of based on the, I'll show you, the Night Stalker platform, but it is a different knife. So you can see the handle size and shape is the same, and the ring is similar, but that's about where the similarities end. Let's start at the ring. The ring itself has a persuader on the back, a little spike on the back. And I got to say, it is nasty. I have carried this in my waistband and gouged my forearm on this. This is something you want to be careful with. It's not super sharp, but you can definitely bust through a soda can or something like that very, very easily. And I know that because I have. It is chamfered on both ends, so it kind of has an edge to it. As you can see from this perspective, it is definitely a persuader, a pain compliance addition. Now, I've heard that some people actually grind theirs down a little bit because it's a little uncomfortable and sharp if you engage with it accidentally. I'm going to leave it as is because that's how the knife comes. I want to keep it pure. But this one is a hell of a design with that. Now you have a longer upswept drop point here, and the forward half of that swedge comes to a 0 ground edge. So it's a double-edged and sharpened right there up front, kind of like the swedge of a cold steel Bowie. It's not like something you're going to be slicing cheese with, but it's definitely a nasty, gashing, slicing, pressure cutting kind of surface there. Absolutely beautiful. The Gideon V3. This one is in AEBL stainless steel. And I got to say, one thing I have noticed with this spike coming off the ring, you're not doing much of this kind of stuff with it. Not flipping it around Karambit style. That definitely stops you from doing that. And it stops you in a painful way. I've tried that. So if you're used to pulling out your Night Stalker and flipping it and doing that kind of thing, when you get this, there's a slight learning curve. because you definitely don't want to flip it around with this thing on the ring. But I have always been curious about this, and I'm so grateful to Jam and Parker for sending this to me. So thank you so much, sir. It is such an awesome addition to my TKell Knives collection, and a sprawling and beautiful collection it is indeed. Also, he was a gentleman enough to include the DCC pocket clip on there. So discreet carry Kansept clip right there on the sheath. Okay, next up, you may have seen this. I released a video for this on Monday. This is from APOC Survival. This is the Demko Bowie. And I still left the schmutz on here. I used this this past weekend as we record this. Was Easter weekend. I had a lot of cleaning up to do, spring cleanup stuff around our backyard especially, but along the fence in the front yard too. Lots of Virginia creeper vine, lots of natural grapevine, and English ivy. I went to war with that, some saplings, and also some limbs on one of our cedar trees. And that's what I used this for. This APOC Survival Demko Bowie knife is obviously a Andrew Demko design. Here, I want to show you, here's the 80-20, and you can see how similar those Bowie knives are. And you say, well, of course they're similar. They're Bowie knives. But that flat clip without the swedge, very signature profile here from Andrew Demko. This thing is so comfortable in hand. It's a D2 blade, flat ground, comes screamingly sharp. You got great big scoop jimping up here and a more than generous handle. So if you watch the video, you'll see I talk about holding it back here quite a bit to do that chopping. You get more leverage when you hold it back here. You have a vaguely 2 to 3 finger partition up front. And when you choke back on the handle, you still get a full 4-finger grip, and your forefinger can wrap around the end of that partition, and you can get great leverage for chopping. So that's what this did a lot of. You have contoured G10 handles with micro milling on it. So very comfortable. So this knife is awesome. Also, in the very back, you have this jimping, basically 2 jimps and a peak in the center, which is great if you need to hold this thing in reverse grip and you want a very sure spot to cap with the thumb. But I use this to break up ice. As I mentioned, well, maybe I didn't mention, but it was Easter. We had a big party. My wife has a huge family, and we had friends over too. And we had a cooler, but the ice had, formed into a big chunk. And so I busted it up with this, just like cops busting up a party during Prohibition. I was just smashing that up using that jimping. And I think it really dug in there with that center hump. Beautiful Kydex sheath. I took the Tech Lock style lock and reoriented it so it would ride on my back like this, basically, and on my side. So I get a good, what's it called? Cavalry draw from it. So cavalry draw, if your knife or your gun is in reverse grip like this, you kind of reach over like that and pull it out for standard grip, or you can just pull it out like this for reverse grip. You won't want to be doing that with your pistol. So that's how I carried this one. Next knife, also from APOC. Thank you, APOC, for sending me these. These are just so cool. This one is from Mike Wallace. You saw me feature the Mike Wallace Smatch It on this show and also in a close-up video. Well, this is his Bowie from APOC, where the Demko is 7.5 inches long. This is about 9 inches, I believe. Now I got to measure just to be sure. Sorry. Yep, 9 and almost 1/4 inches. And you've got a beautiful, long, slender clip point blade. This one also doesn't have a swedge, so it'll be great for utility tasks. But also this would be great if you've got in a bind with it. Very, very comfortable contoured handle. You've got a nice forward thumb ramp here. And then you've got a great and radiused, finger choil. so you can come real close up on the blade and do whatever kind of work you need to do. This also is D2, contoured G10 with the micro milling. And I can't say enough about how comfortable this knife is. It feels so good in hand, and I can't wait to use this. I have not used this one yet, but as you grip it here, maybe it'll be make more sense if I hold it here. But as you grip this knife, it sort of angles down a little bit. So I think if you use this for slashing or chopping, you're going to have an accelerated cutting performance there because of that downward angle of the blade. Now, like the Demko Bowie, this thing is just screamingly sharp. It just kind of grabs onto the fingers when you test it. Again, you have a nice pancake sheath of Kydex, and this one also ships with that Tech Lock style lock. That's the Wallace Bowie. Now, the last one I got from APOC is really cool. It's called the Waning-Moon Yatagan. The Waning-Moon Yatagan. And now I talk about the Yatagan a lot. This is a traditional Turkish style short sword slash knife. That's a little too big for the knife cam. But here you have it. It is a full-on survival sword. It's about 3/16 of an inch thick, nice and thick. And it's got this beautiful G10 handle with the bird's beak here. And it's got a lot of weight in the handle. So if you need to use this as a weapon, it moves around really nicely. But if you need to chop with it too, you've got all of this leverage and all of that recurve in this 9260 carbon steel, 9260. It's coated, so it's not going to rust on you. Maybe the edge will if you're not careful. But it's a tough carbon steel, and this thing is built for all sorts of adventure. I think this would be a great knife to have on you in the jungle with that recurve and the thin blade geometry. Even though it's got a thickish spine, you could go through all sorts of thin and thick brush. As a weapon, it would be awesome. You got that slight recurve, which makes it great for a slash or a draw cut, but also awesome in a slash. But the thing about the Yatagan is that it puts the point somewhat center line. It is think of the Vaquero from Cold Steel. That was based on this knife. It's a little more dramatic than this one, but even though it drops down and you get a recurve, it positions the point in sort of a center line. So if you're thrusting from the outside or from different angles, coming down or coming up or from the sides, you're going to know where that point is, and it's going to be able to penetrate. Unlike, say, a kukri, which is great for thrusting from limited angles. You don't want to bring a kukri in from the side like this. You're just going to hit them with the spine of the blade. So the Yatagan, I think, is a really beautiful knife, kind of under recognized these days. That's my new design coming out from TKL Knives is based on the Yatagan as well. And I think it's an amazing blade shape. Here it is in the sheath. It comes with that cool paracord sort of noose knot. And then this collar here, which is attached with mechanical connections, screw connections here to the sheath so that you could put other sort of belt clips and such on it. That is the Waning-Moon Yatagan. All right, that's it for my new knives this week. 4 knives. That's a great haul. I'm a lucky man. So thank you, one and all, to those of you who sent these to me. I really appreciate them. All right, before we get to my Emerson collection as it stands in spring 2025, let me just say that you should check out the merch section of the knifejunkie.com, knifejunkie.com/shop. Here's the newest one, Knife Dad, because regular dads just don't cut it, which I love. They do. Just they don't actually cut literally. But all dads are good dads as long as they stay with the family, that kind of thing. And even if you don't, I know there are plenty of dads out there who have to visit their kids on the weekends and God love you for what you do. It's not easy, but it's not easy for any dad. So you should have a knife with you at all times to make things easier. Need that sandwich cut? Need to get the cut out of the tree? You know, you need rescuing? Here we are. So that's Knife Dad, because regular dads just don't cut it. Go to theknifejunkie.com/shop. Check out this design and scads more. So thanks for doing that. All right, first up, I want to talk about Emerson Knives. But first on this list, I want to talk about the zero tolerance Emerson Knives. I've had some of the Kershaws. I don't have those anymore. These are the ones that really, really take the cake to me. First up is the zero tolerance 0620. No longer in print, unfortunately. This one wearing an aftermarket, what do you call this? Micarta handle. Sorry, canvas micarta handle. These are really awesome. They came originally in this. This was sort of the cheaper model, and in LMAX, which is awesome. This was after Zero Tolerance figured out their LMAX problem. They had heat treat issues with their LMAX originally, and this was after that. So you've got LMAX, you've got a beautifully faceted Americanized tanto with a swedge, and a clip. It's like a clip point tanto, basically. Very nice, generous wave feature. And if you're brand new to Emerson's, that wave feature is there to snag on your pocket as you draw the knife, and it opens the knife automatically. So it's the one, I swear, any sort of wave knife, whether it's an Emerson or someone else who has adopted the technology, those are the fastest folding knives to bring to bear. So this is the beautiful 620. Now, as I mentioned before, when this first came out, it was in this with G10, or it was with a beautiful grinder satin S35VN blade with carbon fiber. I'm glad I opted for the cheap one, because now I think cheaper one, less expensive one, because now I think this is the real collector's piece, because it's an LMAX. And then I made it special with that aftermarket scale. Next up is the same, in that same line. This came out shortly after the 620. This is the 630. Again, wearing an aftermarket scale. This one is a linen micarta aftermarket scale, as opposed to the canvas of the last one. And these two had the same sort of, I gotta say, sort of cheesy G10 handle. I wasn't crazy about the G10. But this one is in S35VN, and it's got that beautiful grinder satin, and it's based on the banana blade. The banana blade, the CQC8, the classic, also known as the Horseman in its smaller incarnation. Beautiful swedged clip point, upswept clip point, again with that hugely generous wave, and a titanium frame lock with the standard clip, the three screw clip. Now I've replaced both of them on both of these models because they had big ZT logo on it. I prefer just the standard, so I got the standard Emerson clip and put that on there, and I of course put that micarta on there. This knife served me really well as a carpet knife when we were redoing our basement years ago. At this point, just chewed through the carpet like it wasn't there. And this was one of those use your stuff moments where I was like, oh my God, this is the best knife ever. And I'm using it. And it was one of my most expensive knives at the time. Really awesome knife. However, I've never been able to get it centered, but that's okay. I still love it. All right, next up and last in the zero tolerance line of Ernest Emerson design knives is the 0640. Excuse me, by far the most favored and loved of the Emerson collaborations, and one of the most beloved zero tolerance knives out there. Everyone seems to love the 0640. This was based on one of Ernest Emerson's earliest tactical knives, once he went from art knives to tactical knives. And I love the look of this. I love the feel of it in hand. Of course, I did put on aftermarket micarta handles. This had that split pea green split pea soup green, carbon fiber, basket weave carbon fiber handle on it, which I didn't mind as far as basket weave carbon fiber goes. I didn't mind the color. I just don't like that style of carbon fiber very much. So I got this awesome, these awesome tan micarta handles. Makes it very comfortable, very grippy, even when wet. This one has a nice centering, a beautiful blade, and also of 20 CV blade steel. Now this one is an incidental front flipper, like many Emerson knives here. Like many Emerson designs, you can take the tang and use your forefinger and whip it open, and it's not even jimped. You'll see that over and over as we go through this collection. But this is the ZT0640, also wearing an aftermarket clip, an MXG gear clip. All right, next up, the one that started it all in the year 2000, or in the year 1999, I bought this, but I ended up getting a 2000 Emerson Commander. So this is from the year 2000. Now, the Emerson Commander design has remained largely the same, though some things have changed. And if you're familiar with current day Emerson knives, you'll know what those are. This has old school style construction, much more like a custom knife, where the scales, the micarta scales, come off with these little screws, and then you can noodle around with the construction of it. If you want to take it down, you do have to remove the scales first. Very well, kind of different than how things are built now. Old school micarta, and much thinner than the Emersons these days. Had a little schmutz in there. Beautiful, beautiful blade. I mean, just stunning blade and super smooth action. This is so old at this point, 25 years old, and just a great, great knife. And I've considered many times getting a new one, a new Commander. I just haven't done that yet. Look at how small that wave is by comparison to the more modern wave. The wave started as a blade catch, something you would catch another fighter's blade in. Say you're going knife to knife with someone. But really, they found out, the Navy SEALs who were testing some early, I don't think it was the Commander, but they were testing one of the early Emersons with the wave, and they discovered that it's better for opening bottles and then opening off of your pant seams. And so that's how the Emerson wave came to be. Next up, this is the SOCFK, SOCFA. The B model has an Americanized Tonto. This one I bought used, and it was well used. You can see it was worn in. That's not my own use on that, but I've carried this quite a bit. And this is one of two Emersons that have the serrations. They have that great serration pattern, similar to the Spyderco model, models or pattern, the Spidey serrations. What do they call those? Anyway, a very, very comfortable ergonomics. That's something that Emerson knives are known for. They're extremely comfortable ergonomics, as well as the wave and their deadly blades. Also, they're known for their chisel grinds. Now, this one is a V grind on the bevels. Like most of them that I have here, it's a V grind on the bevels. So both sides you have bevels, but only on one side do you have the edge. And so here is the sharpened edge on the show side. And I kind of have always wished that he had it reversed, because chisel ground blades track differently through materials, and if the edge were on the other side, it would be more optimized for righties, and there are many more righties out there, but that's not much of a thing to think about. This one was made 20 years ago. This is a 2005 model. Again, I got this one used, and that's kind of an old school style of G10. And then this one, I believe, whoever owned this put that aftermarket clip on there. Again, you have a incidental front flipper with that extended tang there. And like most Emersons, you can take down the pivot with just a slotted screwdriver. Okay, next, this is a super version. Now, a super Emerson is a larger version. So this is a Super CQC7, the classic CQC7 with that Americanized Tonto blade. Now, something about the CQC7, many of them, not all of them, is that they are fully chisel ground, which means on this side, on the show side, you have the bevels and the edge. And then when you flip it over, it's totally flat. Now, this sort of chisel ground blade where there's no V grind and the edge is chisel ground, this is really the kind where I wish it were done on the other side because you feel it more. Chisel grinds, a lot of people think, oh, he's lazy. He doesn't want to grind both sides. No, that's not the case. A chisel ground knife is extra sharp. Now, think of a chisel. Here, think of your knife edge in cross section. Now, what's a chisel? A chisel is half of that. So it is extra sharp, extra slicey. You have half of the material behind the edge. So chisel ground edges are super sharp and probably best for, in my opinion, on this kind of a knife, a folder is probably best for fighting, for tactical purposes, for putting for cutting soft material like, because for precision's sake, look at that. It is a little oblique on the bevel. So it's, like I said before, it's going to track differently through material. Even though it's wickedly sharp, you might take a turn you don't expect. So this one is the super model, meaning it's extra large and in charge. Awesome knife. Now this one was an auction knife, and my brother ended up buying it from the auction, and then he gave it to me. Isn't that a backhanded way of giving yourself a knife? Well, no, but my brother knows me, so thank you, Vic. This next one is also a chisel ground blade, fully chisel ground. This is the PSARK, and PSARK stands for Police Survival and Rescue Knife. So this is, they have a SARK knife, which has a seatbelt cutter built into the front of the blunt tip. But this one is the police model. So it is like a little Gnunting. It's a little Hawkbill, totally tactical, nasty, like fighting knife. Let's just be honest. That's what this is. You've got a really nicely ergonomic handle, again, similar to the SOC A knife that I showed before. And the handle is similar. And then you have a pretty generous wave there. Flat on one side, and then you have the deep bevels and the edge on the show side. This one was made in 2013. I have a lot made in 2013, or a number of them. And this is before they went to the single detent. Now, from the beginning of Emerson Knives, they featured a detent right up front, and you can kind of see it featured right behind the blade tang there. You can see that detent. And then a detent on the folding leaf here of the liner lock. So one, they were opposing, one here and one back here. And the idea was the second detent would keep it in. Say you're jumping out of an airplane during night ops, that would keep it firmly in the handle. I don't think it does so, because you can actually shake it open. And I guess they decided somewhere around 2015, 2016 to get rid of that in lieu of a single detent, where it traditionally is on the liner lock. But this is one of the older ones, and I like them both. The double detent begs you to slow roll it open, and then the single detent begs you to flick it open. Next up is the CQC13, my favorite of the many Bowies. They have a lot of different clip point Bowie shaped knives coming from Emerson Knives, but the CQC13 is chief among them, if you ask me. Such a beautifully shaped blade. I love that upswept belly. I love that upswept clip. And this one, I opted for the serrations. Actually, I'm lying. I didn't opt for them. This was the only one I could find back in 2013 when I was positively jonesing for a CQC13 and was afraid they were going to go discontinued. They didn't, but I've always loved this, and I'm happy to have it with the serrations. This is wearing aftermarket scales in micarta with that cross hatching, just beautifully done by Thomas Engelson, and he still does really nice work for Emerson's and other similar knives. So there you go, and you can see it right up close. Tom Engelson does beautiful work. I hope to see him at Blade Show this year. And I keep saying I need to send more Emersons to him for handles, but I haven't. I just have to do it sometime. But I love the way this one turned out. This being one of my absolute favorite Emersons, it needed more than the generic G10 handles. And boy, oh boy, did it get that. All right. Next up is a gift from my brother, another Emerson gift from my brother. This is the Super Karambit. Just a wicked blade. It's got a funny looking blade. Looks kind of like an aardvark to me. Always kind of has. This is when was this one made? Can't really see when this one was made. I guess they stopped dating them at this point. But if you know about Ernest Emerson, you know that he is a knife combatives expert, a Filipino martial artist, and other things. And so he makes two karambits, and this is the larger of the two. The regular sized karambit is obviously shorter than this and does not have that squared off tip. Now, don't be fooled. That squared off tip can stab, can gouge, can tear, can do all the things that a karambit can do. This one is just larger. You've got really nice ring size there, so it fits all sorts of fingers. I've known guys in martial arts training who have these with giant mitts. They can get their finger through there. And I got to say, I really like the way it is double thick like that. It's easy to stabilize and to keep true when you're flipping it around. And I have a friend who used to have the training version of the karambit with the shorter blade. And man, these things are great. If you know what you're doing with a karambit, these things are awesome. I have it set up, a reversible clip. I have it set up so that when you draw it, it comes out of the pocket like this and is open, and you can just transition to your combat grip. The next one is the another Super CQC15. And this one is a single detent. You can see how I flip that open instead of slow roll it. I got to do it with my right hand, sorry. But it just flicks open. And this is beautiful. I love the CQC15 blade. It's a combination of the Commander and the CQC7. So you have a Tonto tip, and then you have that beautiful recurve main edge. This was a gift from Bill S., a viewer of the show. Hopefully you're still here, Bill S. I really appreciate this. Still carry it. Still love it. This is possibly my sharpest Emerson. It's just so nastily sharp. But again, this is a V ground, so you can see bevels on both sides, but the edge only on the show side, so it's still a chisel edge. Super sharp. I had a CQC15 regular size, and it was a lemon, I gotta say. It failed the spine whack test. I sold it to someone on Blade forums, letting them know that I was able to make it fail, and they thought that they could fix it, and so I sold it to them. And then Bill sent this to me. Bill S. sent this to me years ago at this point as a gift, and I was just blown away. It is amazing to get a gift like this. Very comfortable, again, ergonomic handle, just ergonomics to beat the band, and a blade that is encapsulates all the things about Emerson Knives that I love. That's the Super CQC15. This one also not dated. All right, there came a time when they stopped dating them. All right, next up, another beautiful clip point mounted on the CQC13 handle. This is the Tiger, and the Tiger has a blade very similar to the CQC8, or here the 0630 from ZT. So you see that same sort of upward curved banana blade style or clip point style blade. This is another sickeningly sharp knife. As a matter of fact, I just cut myself there a couple of days ago with it. First day without the Band-Aid on. And how did I do it? Just being stupid, just opening and closing it and losing my grip. Design-wise, definitely up there as one of my absolute favorite Emerson designs. You've got the super ergonomics of the CQC13 handle and that beautiful sweeping clip point blade. Also, a giant and generous wave on this one. So there's no way you can grip it and rip it and not have this thing open up coming straight out of your pocket. Emerson Tiger, I know for a fact that this was one of Ernest Emerson's absolute favorite designs, at least for a while. I don't know. He's done so many since and recently and so many clip points that I'm not sure where he stands at this point on his favorites. Next up in my top 3 is the Emerson Sax. Again, a single detent, flicks open really easily. And look at that beautiful Sax blade. I really wish they would do a few more. They've done so many clip point blades. I say, why not do another sort of Wharncliffe style blade? It'd be cool to have something like this that's just as pokey and stabby with just as nearly a straight edge as that, but with a more Wharncliffe blade. So a continuous curve from the wave to the tip would look super cool. But, you know, this is a handle I had to learn to love, you know, like an arranged marriage. I had to learn to love this. I'm not a huge fan of the double finger partition on most knives, and this one I wasn't, but I've gotten so used to it, and this is still just super up there as one of my top 3 Emersons because I love the blade shape. This is such a good cutter, and everything else, slasher and everything else. A V-ground blade. You've got the stonewash on the flats, the machine satin on the bevels, and just a beautiful big wave. Awesome knife. This one has a this one has an MXG gear clip, and somewhere along the lines they got rid of the backspacer and put in standoffs like this. So one of the standoff versions. All right, next up, a collaboration with Ed Calderon of Ed's Manifesto. We know him a lot. We've seen him on all the podcasts, including my own. A former anti-narcotics officer from Mexico, working the southern side of the U.S.-Mexican border. And he popularized this sort of fruit knife because his mother carried a fruit knife for doing everything, cutting vegetables, peeling fruit, that kind of thing, but also defending the family. And he saw her once defend the family with that sort of curved blade and adopted it as his own little sidearm in addition to his guns and such while he was on duty. So this, he's done many collaborations since then with reputable knife companies and designers, but this is the one he did with Emerson Knives because he was a big fan of the Emerson Persian, a knife we're going to see here in a second. And so when he got the opportunity to do a collaboration with Mr. Ernest Emerson and make the Elvia, he jumped on it. Folding Elvia, now they come with a wave. This is when they didn't. I got this wave aftermarket, and these scales are also aftermarket, also from Tom Engelson. So beautifully done and very, very comfortable. Now, this knife is optimized, I should say, for reverse grip, tip down, edge in, Pikal style grip and fighting. So a finger groove there to index the forefinger, and then a curve to accommodate the hand in reverse grip. All right, second to last here is one that I traded my buddy Ian for. I gave him, I traded a cold steel for this, and I love it. He got the big cold steel holdout, serrated, and I got this. Pretty fair deal as far as I'm concerned. I told him. So this is the TKF1, the Tim Kennedy folder. This is a collaboration with Tim Kennedy. What is he? Green Beret, Navy SEAL extraordinaire type. No, he wasn't a Navy SEAL. He was in the Army. So I think a Green Beret, and maybe he did a stint with Delta Force. I'm not sure. I know I've heard Shrek, the sheriff of Baghdad, talking about training him. I'm not sure when that came in. But anyway, Tim Kennedy, also an MMA star, and just a general, celebrity military guy. I don't even know what you call guys like that, but a beautiful knife. He came to Ernest Emerson to do a collaboration knife. He wanted something long and stabby, and they settled on this very sort of Bagwell reminiscent, long, slender fighting Bowie shape. This one is waveless. One of my 2 waveless designs here. Really, really nice design. I got to say, I love this one. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. I got it because it was an Emerson and it was a great trade. But man, I really, really like this knife. It's a great EDC. That's about a 4-inch blade, so it's pretty big. You've got a great finger guard on this one. So an all-around great carry, super sharp, V-ground bevels with that chisel edge. The Tim Kennedy, the TKF1, sorry. And then the last one, in my most recent acquisition, this is the re-release of the Persian, now called the PTAC. The Persian was one of the most famous knives out there, as I mentioned earlier. Ed Calderon carried one of these for a long time and swore by it, and I don't even want to know what that means in his line of work, but I bet it's a very effective knife at what it's meant for. You've got a nice, big, generous handle, downward curved, almost like a horn-shaped handle, really curved that way to accommodate that blade, but also, again, lending to those amazing Emerson ergonomics. Very comfortable knife to hold, but then you have that beautiful 4-inch upswept Persian-style blade, V-ground on the bevels, chisel ground on the edge, no wave, and just all business, 100% business. And I'm so grateful and glad that the Emerson Knife Company decided to re-release the Persian. I always wanted one of these knives, and whenever you could find them on the aftermarket, they were super expensive. And so the PTAC, though it's not an original Persian, I don't care. This will do me. I love it. So very, very happy they re-released this. There it is in reverse grip. Just a great knife. All right, there we go. So Emerson Knives, even though I, against my better judgment, loaned 2 knives to someone who ended up being disreputable and sold them for drugs. And even though I gave one away to Jimmy Slash, and even though I've sold one, these are now on the do not get rid of, do not sell list. So my Emerson collection as it is will only grow from here, but I'm pretty selective. And I can't wait to check out some of Ernest Emerson's son's knives. They are beautiful. He's got this awesome folding kukri, very much in the design language of his father, but taking it to a new level. So do you like Emerson's? Let me know. Drop it in the comments below. And in the meantime, check out episode 590. Can you believe that? 590 of the Knife Junkie podcast. It's a great interview conversation with Jeremiah Burbank. What a dude, and what a name, Jeremiah Burbank. I mean, that's like an actor's name if I ever heard one. He's the owner of PVK, also known as PVK Vegas, a outstanding knife store. They sell such amazing stuff. They specialize in automatic knives, but they also have all sorts of custom knives and fixed blade knives and bally songs. And Jeremiah is just a cool dude. Also, co-host of Bladeology, the Bladeology podcast. We have a great conversation. Do be sure to check that one out. All right, for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, theknifejunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at theknifejunkie.com/YouTube. Check out some great knife photos on theknifejunkie.com/Instagram and join our Facebook group at theknifejunkie.com/Facebook. And if you have a question or comment, email them to bob@theknifejunkie.com or call our 24/7 listener line at 724-466-4487, and you may hear your comment or question answered on an upcoming episode of the Knife Junkie podcast.